Gino.
My name is Aaron.
My name is Doris.
My name is Annie.
And today we would like to talk about
Does the Taiwan same-sex marriage really uphold LGBTQ rights?
and this is our table of contents. And the first part that we're going to talk about is our introduction.
Before we get started, I would like to ask you guys a question. Do you know that Taiwan is the first country in Asia to legalize the same-sex marriage? Nowadays, the recognition of the homosexual community in our society is gradually being accepted by the public. However, there are still many people who don't agree on homosexual marriage as the awareness of the human rights is raising. On May 24, 2019, Taiwan became the first country in Asia to legalize the same-sex marriage. And according to the Ministry of Interior, more than 2,000 same-sex couples in Taiwan have been married. However, does it really protect the right of the LGBTQ community?
Next, I'm going to talk about our research method. In order to gain a deeper understanding of Taiwan's same-sex marriage and its impact on Taiwanese, we divided the survey into two parts, literature review and an online questionnaire. The following are questions we would like to explore. First, why could Taiwan be the first country in Asia to legalize the same-sex marriage? Second, what are the opinions of LGBTQ community and the public about the same-sex marriage? Third, are there any differences in civil code between heterosexual marriage and same-sex marriage? Next, I will let my partner Aaron explain the next part.
First, why could Taiwan be the first country in Asia to legalize same-sex marriage? Over the past decade, Taiwan was only influenced by Western culture. In this democratic country, freedom of expression and association not only facilitate the process of legalization, but make the public more aware of the same-sex marriage issue. In addition, in this new generation, more and more citizens have the willingness to attend the social movements. Their attentions on those social issues indirectly affect the government's decision and makes this issue in the main focus in the current society as well.
Second, what are the opinions of LGBTQ community and the public about the same-sex marriage? To the LGBTQ community, the legalization of same-sex marriage in 2019 is a significant turning point. Even if this exclusive act is still not perfect enough, they will continue to fight for less permanent work. As for the public, it seems that the youth have more tendency to accept the same-sex marriage rather than citizens aged over 40. In their opinion, everyone is deserved to be loved, no matter what his or her gender or sexual orientation may be. Similarly, none of us need to be told how to love.
Third, are there any differences in the civil code between heterosexual marriage and same-sex marriage? According to the law, same-sex marriage is an exclusively established law. However, what are the differences between civil code and same-sex marriage? There are some organized points from the literature.
Firstly, international marriage. If Taiwanese homosexuals want to get married with foreign partner, both countries need to accept the same-sex marriage. This will cause some inconvenience for them. For instance, if their foreign partner's hometown hasn't legalized the same-sex marriage, they would not be able to stay in Taiwan for good and have to spend quite a lot of money on plane tickets because of the restriction of resident visa. Take the story of Mr. Ding and Mr. Liang, for example. Mr. Liang came from Macau, and Mr. Ding is a Taiwanese. They spent almost all their salaries and savings to meet each other, expecting to get married in Taiwan after the legalization. However, due to the laws and regulations regarding Hong Kong and Macau, this dream still cannot be completed yet.
Next one is children adoption. According to the civil code, a husband and a wife can adopt children together. However, homosexual law only allows same-sex spouses to adopt the biological children. Isn't it an impossible task? Now that surrogate mothers are still illegal in Taiwan, how could an LGBT couple have their own children? Those questions indicate that there is still a long way to go to achieve true equality. Next part is our findings. I will let my partner Gino introduce this part.
Thank you. And so this part we're going to talk about our finding. It took us a week to figure out the structure of this questionnaire. We started sharing this questionnaire on the internet on May 26, 2020. The deadline of this questionnaire is June 6, 2020. During the phase of investigation, we have received 170 questionnaires. We divided our questionnaires into two parts: personal information and their opinion of same-sex marriage issues. So the first part is their personal information. So the first part is their gender identity. As you can see, most of our participants are heterosexual. And next will be their ages. As you can see from this figure, 60% of our participants are aged under 16. And next will be the questions that we ask our participants. The first is, do you support the legalization of the same-sex marriage issues? Well, as you can see, most of our participants think that they support the legalization of the same-sex marriage issues. And next will be the reason why they agree and disagree with the same-sex marriage issues. Well, as you can see from this is the reason why they agree with the same-sex marriage issues. The first is most of them think that the law should ensure the people's right to get married, while the other think that everyone has the right to choose his or her partner. And next will be the reason that they disagree with these issues. Well, as you can see, most of the people think that same-sex marriage issues is a violation against ethics, and while the other think that the same-sex couple are unable to bear the next generation. And the next question will be, do you agree with the inclusion of same-sex marriage issues into teaching materials? Well, as you can see, 68% of our participants agree that we should include this into teaching materials. And they think that we should include the same-sex marriage issues into junior high school phase. And that's all of our findings. And now we'll move on to conclusion.
In conclusion, Taiwan is the first country in Asia to legalize the same-sex marriage. But there's still some room for improvement, such as international marriage and children adoption. We think all are equal before the law and are entitled without any discrimination to protection of the law, no matter what their sexual orientation is.
And from our research, we can see that people have more tendency to accept the same-sex marriage issues. And also, we can see that most of our participants think that we should include the same-sex marriage issues into junior high school phase, and also we understand the reason why they agree and disagree with the same-sex marriage issues. Being at first is not easy, but if we can set a role model for the Asian country and show them that the importance of the same-sex marriage issues, and meanwhile reducing discrimination and showing more respect to the others, together we can make this world a better place. And this is our reference. Thank you.
For oral presentation, I have no comments. For the written one, I would suggest in your table of contents, you will put separate different chapters for your paper version. Usually, chapter 1, for the simple one, okay, chapter 1 is introduction. Within the introduction, you probably have some kind of background and also your motivation, how you want to research this topic, and also some kind of keyword and of course, research questions. So these are belong to chapter 1. Okay. Chapter 2 is a literature review. So you need more history, more background, more the current issue in literature review. Okay. Chapter 3, more methodology. How you conduct this one in your research. You have questionnaire, interview, you have all the instruments for the research, include that one. And 4 is finding and discussion. Usually finding and discussion is the simple one. If you have a complicated one, of course, you take the discussion into a mini chapter. Okay, but for the simple one, you can combine finding and discussion together. Later on, you have the conclusion. You sum up all the chapters in the first 4. And especially, you pay a lot of weight to summarize your finding. Okay? And also, we probably have some kind of invitation for the policymaker to develop a new strategy or policy to cope with the question and give research. And also you have some kind of suggestion for future research. If anyone is interested in this issue, they can place on the finding and go further. So there's usually the 5 chapters of simple research. So in that one, you put the research question as number 2, Romanized number 2 is not an appropriate one. Okay? So introduction, literature review, methodology, finding and discussion, not only finding, but also this simple discussion you put in. Okay? And also, what I just mentioned before to the previous one, the Romanized, let me put number 1, but not Romanized but 1, Romanized 1, but 2, 1. It's very strange, really very strange. Okay? But sometimes people, they give more minor subsection. So they usually number 1, Arabic number 1, then number 1.1, 1.1.1, 1.1.2, 1.2. So they have the indent. First layer, the second layer, the third layer. So from the table of contents, the reader easy to catch up the main idea in that small section. Okay? If you have many. Okay? So,
Thank you so much. Thank you.
and in the reference, please also follow the style. For your questionnaire, I would prefer you make a nicer layout. For them, you put the first one, gender, then you just align with that, the male, female, transgender, the number 2. So 1 and 2, that in the same line. It's not easy for the reader to get out. And when you put male, female, how about you just line in one line, male or female? Number 2, so you just reduce the length. Okay. And then move in length. If everything belongs to the same question. So that's my suggestion.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Hello, good job. So, I'd like to ask that, how did you distribute the questionnaire on the internet? Like through what platform or?
Google form, Google questionnaire.
Yeah, and how did you distribute to your target? Like, how did you invite them through?
Into our questionnaire. Most of our participants are our friends or our parents' friends. And we also put our questionnaire into our social media to let our friends or our friends' friends to conduct our questionnaires.
I see. And did you encounter any obstacle or any challenges when you were doing this project?
Actually, this is the second version of our questionnaire. The first version, we conducted 350 questionnaires, and which means there was too much. So we conducted the question again to 170, and most of the questions are not so difficult for the participants. So we didn't encounter too many challenges within this questionnaire. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
My question is regarding the 2 questions you have on your survey. So at the beginning of your survey, you asked whether the participants support the same-sex marriage, and according to the results, over 70% of people supported the same-sex marriage. But yet, in the following questions you have, do you disagree? Why do you disagree with the same-sex marriage? If they were already supporting the same-sex marriage, why would they disagree with the same-sex marriage? So the 2 questions seems to be a little conflicting with one another.
So basically, we divided our questionnaires into two parts. So the person who chooses to support these issues will jump to the section 2, and the person who disagrees with this question will jump to section 3. So that's why there's a disagreeing and agreeing question answers. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.